Congratulations again on your engagement. It's got to be so nice not to have to keep things a secret anymore. And Michelle, do you get to like wear your engagement ring in public now?
Yes, I have not had the chance to, but I feel like, I'm right, like dominant hand, but I feel like I'll be like like a little more left-handed, not gonna wear my mitten on my left hand, just on my right hand.
Right. Or if you do, just like cut the ring part out.
Right, exactly.
A little bit. I love that. Well, have you guys started thinking about or planning the wedding, or is that like way off in the future? You just try to like get settled right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely we're set on summer, and just in the near future, we're gonna get through the holidays, get through buying this house, moving to Minnesota, but yeah, summertime in the near future.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, I know you guys haven't had like a ton of time together yet, but like tell us something that you've learned about each other that would surprise us.
Where do we start? We never get bored.
Never.
Like we are very like we watch a ton of documentaries.
Yeah.
Like geek out on documentaries, random science experiments.
Yeah, a lot of science experiments.
Wait, what kind of science experiments are you guys doing?
We were in a spot where they had a hot tub, and the hot tub, like I set it way too high, and it was like ungodly hot. Like it was not safe to go in.
Dang near boiling. Like.
But we took an egg and we put the egg in the hot tub overnight to see if it would boil by the morning. Yeah. It did not work.
Yeah.
It did not work.
We definitely thought it was going to be a hard boiled egg by the morning. But
yeah.
No.
Oh my God. Well, that's good to know now, guys. Don't boil eggs in a hot tub. It doesn't actually work. Let's talk about your season, because there was so much going on this season. So many people have been talking about it. Michelle, I especially, as a woman of color, I want to know, you're the first Bachelorette to have 2 Black or biracial men as the final contenders. I know that you've said that you chose based on the people that you had the strongest connections with, but it's still, a pretty meaningful milestone. Yeah. Why don't you think that we've seen this happen before?
I think that just within this franchise, those contestants and those love stories just haven't been the focus. And with me and with the people who I was really connecting with, that allowed an opportunity for it to become a focus. And I think it was incredibly important to me, even as I started this journey, that I wanted to talk about the hard conversations, because in my relationships, I've battled with, being with somebody who does not understand, that does not fully accept me, who I am, or does not understand, being in a relationship with a biracial woman or a Black woman, and just this different struggles and challenges. And so, when you have this season where I have these men, this diverse cast of men, but also me really pressing to have these conversations and have those conversations shown what was just incredibly important to me, and was kind of embodied who I was. And so I'm happy that we were able to make some of that happen.
By the end, like I said, you ended up with these, 2 men that you had fallen in love with, that you told Brandon, you told Nayte that you loved them. I mean, Nayte, was it hard knowing that she had such strong feelings for someone else? Was there ever a time where you thought like, I can't take this, I've got to leave?
Yeah, no, I mean, very early on after the engagement, Michelle told me that she fell in love with 2 different guys. So we had that conversation way, long ago. And then, for me, like, something that I've like always understood is that, if it wasn't for being on this show, like nobody would be in that position to kind of fall in love with two different individuals. At least, normally I don't think that would ever happen, right? So you gotta, like, I kind of knew what it is like that I signed up for, right? Like 30 guys, 1 girl, you're in this environment, and like that can happen, and it did happen. Some people fall in love with only one person, some people fall in love with multiple people, some people don't fall in love at all, right? So you kind of like, that it's also from this environment, and now that we're out of that environment, hey, I got to wake up next to Michelle for the rest of my life, so does it really matter that much, right? So
a pretty fairy tale ending for you guys, for sure. And I have to say, I mean, after watching last night's episode, I mean, Michelle, Brandon was like, had a very tearful, very emotional response to being sent home. Did his response surprise you at all?
No, not necessarily, just because you're in that moment and you ask these guys to give everything they have, and if you're doing it correctly, you give everything back, and up into the last minute until and once you make that decision, it's hard because it's like this cut off. It's not a normal breakup in the real world where you can talk for however long you need to talk for, and then, you know, you leave or take space, and then you can reconnect and check in on each other to make sure that you're okay. Like, it really is a clean break, and can be kind of confusing, I think, for the person who's on the other side of that, because I'm following my heart, and, you know, my heart was with Nayte, but where somebody else was also in love with you and you were in love with them, like, that can be very, very, it's a confusing situation, and it's a difficult situation. And honestly, even more conversation that you can have, it might not always make perfect sense. And that's kind of just something that you have to accept. And I think, like, those intense emotions are things that, like, if you are truly in it, I 100% understand why you would respond.
And Nayte, were you nervous on that night? Like, before you proposed to Michelle, did you know that she had already sent Brandon packing, and were you like worried whether or not she was going to say yes or no to you asking her to marry you?
No, I had no clue. I've never watched the show before. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure. Like, you know, like I said, Michelle, after the engagement, Michelle told me how everything played out, and I was like, oh wow, that's. I immediately, like, I was like, wow, this is emotional for, like, you know, I felt bad for Brandon. I was like, this is crazy. I did not know that this is how everything plays out, you know. So I definitely was like, wow, like dang, this is wild. So I didn't know what to expect. All I know, I'm still the happiest guy in the world, right? So
I'm laughing because, I mean, even rewatching it now too, like, I was incredibly nervous, and I know you were nervous to a certain extent, but he was like, I have the ring, I picked out the ring, and I have the suit on, and I'm going on the beach, so it must be me. So in that, it makes it almost more comical as he's walking across, like, skipping across confidently, because he does not know that there is a potential that he can be turned down. And so he's watching it back, he's like, wow. I mean, honestly, I kind of, like, don't mind that for you, because it's like, okay, you did not need to be, like, insanely nervous, or even more than you already were.
I was nervous though still.
But
it's so cute. Well, and then afterwards, let's talk about afterwards, because afterwards, I mean, you guys have to, like, sort of start over, like, as a regular couple. I mean, you got to ask for each other's numbers. Who asked for whose?
Yeah, we spent like a few days together, and then before we left, it was like, okay, so can I, like, what's your phone number? It's so weird, you know?
Yeah, I had to ask her to follow me back on Instagram.
That was today, this morning.
Yeah, this morning I'd ask her.
This morning, Michelle, you followed him back on Instagram?
Yeah, I finally followed him back on Instagram. Yeah, I did.
Let me get my follow.
I love that. Instagram official after you're engaged.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the way things need to be done. Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Well, and Michelle, what's next for you? I mean, is Dancing with the Stars going to be in your future? I feel like we see a lot of bachelors and bachelorettes on it.
Hey, I mean, I am open to all opportunities. I'm really competitive. So, man, going on Dancing with the Stars, oof, you might see a different side of me.
I love it. We would love to see that side of you guys. I mean, how well have you guys gotten, like, a chance to get to know each other? Do you guys have nicknames for each other yet?
No.
Maybe by the time you're on Dancing with the Stars, we need nicknames.
There's nicknames. We have nicknames. Yes, we know each other very, very well.
Thank you for watching. If you want more extra, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll never miss a video.